and like the door's right in front of me. Clear as day, I see someone peeking in, but it was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like a shadow, but in front of me and very clear. It was just like a thing, and it freaking smiled at me. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, what's up? I hope you stay because it's pretty fun here. At least I think so. So today we are back with another video of the 31-day series that I am calling Ghosts Glam, where we do our makeup and I tell you a quick-ish little horror, paranormal, weird, creepy story that I've experienced somewhere along my life. And yesterday we ended a mini series within the series where I was talking about this house I lived in when I was 14/15, and I kind of have to re-upload that video, so it's re-uploaded with better quality because I don't know what the hell happened to it, but yeah, it had to be re-uploaded. So yesterday we finished that series. I gave you the little wrapping ending of the saga, my theories, what happened, all the stuff. And today we're going to move on to something a little bit different. So with the story, it's going to be a pretty short one, but I feel like I say that about most of the stories and then they end up not being short. And this one I think is going to be a pretty short one because it's kind of short and simple. So the story I'm going to be sharing today with you guys is back in 2017. My boyfriend and I had moved into our second apartment together, and you know, we were just vibing, we were living life. It was so fun, and you know, it was cool. We were chilling, and during this time is when I found out about podcasts, which now really funny because I own my own podcast agency and I have for the past 5 years. And so it's just funny how that works. But at this point we had just discovered podcast, really getting into it and all that stuff. And if you know me, you know that I love all things horror, all things creepy, all things weird. And so I'm always listening to paranormal stuff, true crime stuff, watching horror movies, not so much anymore, but at the time I really was a lot. And in later videos I'll share why I stopped watching so many horror movies and consuming a lot of this type of content that now I'm making. So I was consuming a lot of creepy content and I just loved it. Like, I literally loved it. And my boyfriend wasn't a huge fan of horror at the time, but he enjoyed it. You know, it was cool. He was getting into it. He was getting more into real life kind of ghost stories, kind of like La Llorona, kind of like SWs. I'm not gonna say that. And just like more of those kind of things, right? And so we decided that we were going to start a paranormal podcast. And so what we did, we started one. We called it Embrujado, which means haunted in Spanish. And it was pretty cool, you know. Like, we did not release a lot of episodes, but the ones we did release, they were pretty fun. They were cool to record and everything. But when you are... Oh, this is fire. When you are consuming a lot of this content, obviously you're kind of calling in this type of content. You're calling in entities, you're calling in activities to happen. Especially back then, I really didn't know much about protecting my energy, protecting my space, or nothing really of that nature. And so when we would talk about these things, we would leave the doors open for anything that wanted to come through. And that is fun and all until it's not, right? Most things are fun until they're not fun. And so we would record these different kind of episodes, and we were in a 1-bedroom apartment, so we would record in our living room. And, you know, it was fun. It was something that we did together, and we spent time. And I think there's still episodes out there. Not good, so I'm not going to link it or anything. They're not the best quality. They're not the best anyway. So anyways, we started doing that. We started recording our episodes. Like I said at the time, I didn't know anything about protecting your energy, protecting your space, not allowing weird entities to come through. So basically, anytime we recorded, it was free game for anything that wanted to come through. And so weird stuff would happen when we would start recording these episodes, from things falling to hearing weird noises to just weird stuff happening, right? Like papers would fall, there would be knocking on our wall, there would be knocking on our window. There was a time when my boyfriend, he was editing one of our videos, or one of our podcasts, I'm sorry. And the window was right next to the recording space, right? So he was editing one of our episodes. I think it was the very first episode. And what ends up happening is he sees something walk by the window. And he is like on the outside. And he's just like, whatever. Doesn't think about it. Because, hello, we're in apartments, right? Then it clicks. We are on the 7th floor. And outside our window is literally like outside. Like, there was like a center area, but it's open. Like, no one's walking outside our window. And so I remember he told me about it, and I was like, oh, like, that's weird. But, you know, could have been a lot of things. Could have been like a reflection, even though there was no one in the house. Could have been someone across the foyer, like across the little open area. Maybe someone was walking. Like, I don't know. It just didn't seem impossible for it to have been human-made or light-provoked, you know? So we were just kind of like, okay, that's weird. But not really. Didn't really think anything of it. Didn't look more into it. We just kind of ignored it. And so, whatever, that happened. We continued recording our episodes, and as we kept going, the weirder the things got. So we would record, and again we would hear knocking on the wall. We would record, we would hear little footsteps, we would hear just random stuff that was just kind of like, okay, clearly something is going on here. But we're not trying to make like a big deal about it, because, you know, we're just like, I don't know. We're recording creepy stuff, so it's just giving us more material. So we just kind of ignored it for a while. And then I remember we were recording one of our final episodes that we ever made. And this kind of is one of the reasons why we stopped recording episodes, because things were getting really, really out of hand with the activity that was happening in the house and just a lot of things. So we were recording our final episode, and I was actually sharing stuff about the house. And at the time, we didn't know it was our final episode. So we had all intention to continue recording for this podcast. And we were recording. I was talking about the house, the one that we just talked about in the previous video. And I was sharing about shadow people and all things shadow people, the house, all the things. Basically, what I said in this video, in this series, I was talking about it. And so I really had to pee, like, so bad. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go really quick. Like let's take a quick break and then we'll come back. So my boyfriend was like, okay, sure. And he's like, I'm gonna check, make sure that everything sounds fine as we're recording, if we need to edit anything or switch up anything or whatever. So I was like, cool, BRB. So I went to the restroom, and this is kind of funny, but I'm like there, and he goes, oh my God. And I was like, what? And he's like, there's like a weird sound in the back, like it sounds like something fell in the background, like just weird things. And I was just like, oh, that's super weird, like I want to listen to it. And I look up, and like the door's right in front of me, clear as day. I see someone peeking in, but I was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like a shadow but in front of me and very clear. It was just like a thing, and it freaking smiled at me. And I literally screamed so loud, and I'm not like, I don't scream, but I got so freaked out. I was like, what the fuck? And so like I go and I tell my boyfriend, and I'm like, yo, like this just happened. Because like, what the fuck? Like I'm freaked out because I'm literally about to walk out back to the living room, and I see this thing by the door, like smiling in, and it freaked me the hell up because I knew it was just my boyfriend and I in the apartment, and we were just talking about shadow people. And the little smile it gave me was like, oh, I know you're talking about me. And so I freak out. I run out to my boyfriend, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is what I saw, blah, 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 blah. As I'm telling him this, something falls in our room, and we're just like, what the hell? So we go and look, and obviously there's nothing on the ground. So we're just like looking at each other like, what just happened? And like I said, at the time, I really had no idea what it meant to protect your energy, protect your space before doing any type of communication with the ghost or the other side or paranormal entities, whatever you want to call them. So I didn't know how to protect my energy at all. So we're both just there like dumbfounded, like what just happened, what is going on? And even though I had already experienced stuff with entities and so on and so forth, and this one was one of the first times that my boyfriend had ever experienced something that vivid, I guess. And so we're standing there, we're trying to figure out what to do, and we're just standing there like, okay, what's next? So we're both just standing there like, what do we do now? Should we continue the episode? Should we not? But something in me was just like, no, like they do not want to be talked about by they, I mean shadow people. So I'm just like, nope, they don't want to be talked about. Let's leave it for now. And so we unplugged everything, the mic, the laptop, everything that we were using. We unplugged it, and we tried recording that episode one more time. But the next time we tried to record that episode, a couple days after that, the mic wouldn't work, and just weird stuff, like basically, clearly, whatever was there did not want to be talked about. And like I'm talking about it now, but we're in a completely different state now. So I don't know. even though energies kind of travel, so might still be here. I don't know. Point is, it didn't want to be talked about, so we ended up just never recording any more episodes for that podcast, and it kind of just died out. So we just never continued. The podcast still lives on like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. There's only very few episodes on there because like I said, we tried to continue and it just was not working out for us. So we figured it's not the time to continue talking about this kind of stuff. Now I feel more comfortable talking about it because ever since then, I've had time to really deepen my spiritual practice, know how to protect my energy when I am entering or speaking on these things. So I'm not like scared to talk about it. So yeah, I wanted to share this quick, short, little story with you guys because it's one of the shorter ones, but I thought it was worth mentioning, especially now since we are, talking more about this type of stuff. And I just figured to give you a little break from the longer videos that was a little mini series that just passed. So I want to know your thoughts on this story, this entity. Do you think it was related to the podcast? Do you think it was like a sign that we shouldn't be recording the show back then? And let me know. Do you think we should bring back that podcast? I think it would be fun. I don't know if him and I even have time to bring back that whole podcast, but hey, who knows? Maybe we will eventually. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. I really like this eyeshadow. I will see you tomorrow when we come back with another video for this 31-day series. I can't believe it's been almost half a month of me being consistent. I'm so proud of myself. And also, we're so close to 100 subscribers, y'all. Like, we're probably, I think, 9 or 8 subscribers away from my goal of 100 subscribers by the end of October. So I definitely think we can make it. If you like this kind of content, or you like makeup, lifestyle kind of content with a twist of bringing awareness to the limb difference community, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Love you so much. Stay rockin'. I don't know, I looked over there and I saw my guitar, so why the fuck not? Stay rockin'. I love you so much. Goodbye.